Oh, hey. Welcome to Eerie Aaron. This is going to be part 2 of the last episode that I did. Um, I guess a brief recap. Told you about the Ouija board. The first time I had some contact with the other side, and a little bit of the little girl who passed on, and how I got intrigued with all that. And really shouldn't explain it all again. If you want to hear it again, you should probably just rewatch the other video. Um, so continuing on from that, because I'm trying to keep the videos not so super fucking long, so you're like, oh my god, shut up. So the next part of that story, uh, this little girl that had been we had been contacting through the Ouija board, um, we became very intrigued, and I say we because I started involving a couple of my other friends who had been into, not necessarily Wiccan, but somewhat. I mean, we put a circle together. So like and uh, I don't even know if I'm being 100% on all this stuff, but we put a circle together. We had somebody represent north, south, east, and west. I represented water, which I don't even remember which direction that means. But it's earth, wind, fire, water is north, south, east, and west, and you have somebody who represents both of those things. Like I was water. I think I was east or west. I think east actually. But we developed a circle. We had 4 friends, each representing each corner. And we had the corners, and we started to go and talk to this girl. And as I told you in the last video, we realized that this girl wasn't always this girl, that we were in fact talking to a demon who was trying to manipulate things. And in that, we ended up um, doing more protective seances so that we could come in more contact with the girl. But even with doing that, we ended up opening doors that were too late, and this evil thing kind of kept her. It was the way it was explained to us through the little girl was that the dark energy that had been keeping her there, because the thing with spirits is if you're a child or a baby or anything like that, you're automatically moved on to the next side because you're innocent. You're innocent. Like you don't have unfinished business. You're a child. And her death was somewhat of a murder from what I remember. The father figure, I don't even think it was her biological father, the father figure who owned this property. I won't call him what he was because that was another way that we referred to him. And again, the whole giving the name, it it helps give it helps give whatever that energy is power. So this negative energy that basically put her in her grave had been holding her down. I have another theory about negative energy and bad people and stuff like that I'll share with you another time. But this person ended up becoming like a demon, and I'll explain that another time because I can't. It's too much. So the girl shared with us more information about how she had passed on and how she was killed by this farmer. Fuck, I said it. And shit. Anyway, I'm not gonna say it again. There. So we created the circle, and we started to ask questions. And in doing that, we were trying to figure out how that we could help her to pass on, because she was stuck here. We didn't know why she was stuck here, because she was a child. So what we had done, we found out that she was murdered and all this stuff, and we did seances and stuff to try and get her to go into the light, and it just wasn't working. And we found that part of it was because she couldn't find her mother. And we later found out that her mother was also murdered by the same person, only in the woods behind where she had lived. So it was interesting too, because when we were talking to the little girl, she said like it she could speak with her mother, but she couldn't be with her mother for some reason. And we think it's because they're two lost souls, basically. Like, it's almost like she could like talk to her on the phone, but she couldn't go and like go hug her mother, kind of thing. So when when we found out all that stuff, we did more and more seances and stuff like that. And the evil energy started figuring out what we were doing and started to attack us, which I won't go into detail about that, but I mean, they interrupted any kind of Ouija experience we were trying to do, or threatened me. I had done the Ouija board basically almost every day that we were doing this stuff. And through doing that so much, the negative energy got attached to me. That was scary. That actually stayed attached to me up until a couple of years ago. And it's not... It's kind of... It's freaky. Because to this day, if I go on a Ouija board, it'll come up. It's like it senses that I'm messing around with stuff, and it's like, oh, you're back for more, huh? And no joke at all. And my example for that, during this time, and we had this circle, and we thought we were all bad, and they're ghosts. They can't hurt you. What do you mean? You're a ghost. You can threaten me all you want. Nothing's gonna happen, right? Yeah, I thought so. So one night, me and my circle, we were just doing what we would normally do, speaking through the Ouija board and other things. And in speaking through the Ouija board, we started to get kind of ballsy about it, and we were like, so this negative energy was coming through, talking to me, and I'm like, whatever, you're a ghost, you can't do anything. And I said, something along the lines of, you're dead, what can you do? You can't do anything. Threaten me all you want, da-da-da. And it continued to say something along the lines of, we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you. You don't even know we're gonna get you. And I was like, what are you gonna do? You can't do anything. I'm alive and you're not. And they just said, we're gonna drown you. And I was like, really? That's interesting. How are you gonna get me in the water? What are you talking about? Like, and it just kind of left it all so just brief like that. And so that summer, probably about a month and a half went by. we were doing the same things that we were doing. We were threatening them. We were going on the Ouija board like we shouldn't have. Well, I shouldn't have, because I was at this point when I had my circle, like I told you in the first video. They my friends in the circle had the ability to like almost like listen to spirits and stuff like that without having to use a Ouija board. But I still needed the Ouija board. So that's why I was using the Ouija board all the time. All the time. Like, everybody's talking to them, and I'm sitting there going, Ouija board. What are they saying? And I did that so much, and it was so bad. It was a bad idea. That's probably why the thing got attached to me, because I did that so much, and I let it do all these patterns, and shit. I wouldn't be surprised if something else is still lingering. But, so the end of that summer, the end of the month and a half, we ended up taking a group trip, because the people I had in my circle, we ended up becoming, like, best friends over the summer, and we took, like, a day trip down to, like, the beach, and we hung out on the beach all day, had a great time. I felt weird all day. I couldn't figure out why. We ended up leaving that night, and we drove through the night, and I'm a type 1 diabetic, first of all, and at the time I had been a type 1 diabetic for about a year or two, and we hung out at the beach all day, did whatever. We ended up leaving in the middle of the night, and I was supposed to drive home, and I was exhausted, like, to the point where I couldn't even, like, keep my eyes open, and I was supposed to be driving. So my friend, luckily, she ended up driving us, and we got home, and as soon as we got home, I remember running in my house, and I got sick. Like, I threw up. It was probably, like, I want to say, like, 2 or 3 in the morning by the time we got home, and I got sick. My blood sugars were extremely high. I was going into ketoacidosis, which, people who don't know, it's basically when your blood sugars get so high to the point that your body starts to shut down. And so I went to the hospital. I had a nice little 3-day stay. But long story short, the reason I went into keto was because I had pneumonia, which, let's put 2 and 2 together. You know what pneumonia is? Fluid in your lungs. We're gonna drown you. We're gonna drown you. That just scared the shit out of me after I realized what had happened, because it was the middle of the summer. How am I getting pneumonia in the middle of the summer? We just hung out at the beach all day. Yeah. So when we did all this stuff, we messed around with a lot of stuff that we shouldn't have. And yeah, I think I'm gonna end this episode with that. The little girl did, we ended up freeing her. We did. And I'm very proud of that. I think it was worth risking what I messed with, but I mean, the house had got knocked down, and I'm not sure what happens to spirits after that, but I mean, I don't know. If you have any questions, please comment, send me messages, give me some feedback. You want to tell me you think some of my theory is wrong, go ahead. Educate me, don't belittle me. Same thing I always say. Thanks for hanging out. And think we'll be talking about some Christmas themed stuff next time. All right.